If you've come across this video, it's not a coincidence. If you can see by the title of the video, I am doing this video because I haven't found anything like it. Witchcraft does exist. God does exist. Jesus is the only way. Jesus is the only way. He's the truth. And this is a testimony, and I hope it helps anybody that's battling with the same thing that I battled. And it's not a coincidence that you came across this video. If you are, before I start, because this video is going to be pretty long, so before I start, if you think that you might be under witchcraft or somebody's doing brujeria on you or something like that, some of the forms of witchcraft, some of the symptoms are insomnia, panic attacks, anxiety, this fear that just doesn't go away, weight loss, like you can't eat, you feel like something's oppressed on you, it's just day and night and it doesn't go away. If you're having dreams, and if a certain person around you, like your husband, is being evil, everything you do just doesn't, just nothing will make them snap out of it, whether it's your husband, your friend, your mom. I mean, I hope it's not your mom, but like if you feel like you're going crazy because the anxiety is just like, and the thoughts are, your mind is going 100 miles per hour, get out of this video and go look for a deliverance video. Just on here on YouTube, just look up deliverance videos from witchcraft. That is your only solution. That is the only solution. You can't go to a curandera or another witch to undo what you think might be attacking you, because you are under spiritual warfare. So get out of this video and go look for a deliverance video on witchcraft and look up spiritual warfare. It is real. It is real. When I was doing my research, I didn't think it was real. But it is. It is very real. Very, very real. So come back to the video though to hear the testimony, or if you're feeling okay, then just wait until after my testimony, because it's going to be pretty long and I'm going to try to cover everything that happened. And you might be going through this, or somebody might be going through this, and it's real, and it's in the Bible. So my whole life I was brought up as a Catholic. I'm Mexican, so that's what I was taught. My mom grew up in the church, so she would make us go to church. Since I was little, since I could remember, we would go to church. And I really didn't understand God or Jesus or how, because you hear other stuff like astrology and the dinosaurs, and you can't mix church and science together. Like there's just no way. So I was always confused. So back in 2014, we came across this series on Netflix, and I learned a lot from that series. And then I was like, oh, okay, so that's how it happened. Because I tried to read the Bible. When I was 15, I had gotten into some trouble. So I opened the Bible. I remember opening the Bible, and when I was opening, like reading it, it kept repeating itself. And after all this that happened to me, I remembered. I was like, I tried to look for God when I was 15, and I kept trying to read the Bible, and it just kept repeating itself over and over, like the passages. I don't know if the Bible, that particular Bible that I was reading, just had like different versions in one or what, but when I was reading it, it just kept repeating itself, so I just lost interest, so I didn't even try to open it again. I didn't even know what the Bible was until I saw the series, which was back in 2014. And so I'm like, okay, so that's how it happened. So then now, when I found Jesus in 2016, I already had been married for 14 years. And I got married very young. I was 16 years old when I eloped with my husband. He's still my husband now. And we are total opposites, my husband and I. And I met him when I was 15 and he was 17. Well, anyways, so in 2016, we already had been married for 14 years. And throughout the years, I just felt like there was this wall. Like this wall that I just couldn't get to him. I don't know if I was just wanting more from him, or he just, the quietness that everybody would tell me or confront me about him and complain or like whine about him, like, hey, your husband's too quiet, why is he so quiet? Like, it started to get to me. And so maybe about I started like 10 years ago. So maybe about 10 years ago, I started praying. And I still wasn't sure if God existed. I didn't, I mean, there had to be a God. I mean, I just didn't understand him. So I started praying, and I would do your typical Hail Mary and your typical Our Father, and then I would leave like a short prayer to the end, like just, and then this is whenever I would remember to pray. Like, I wouldn't pray every day. I would just say thank you for our health, but I didn't have a relationship with him, so I didn't know if he was listening. I didn't know if he was there. I didn't know how. I didn't know anything. And especially, I didn't know anything about Jesus. Nothing. So I started praying, fix my marriage or remove my husband. Because there had been problems. Just like any other marriage, there had been problems, and I wanted God to change him because I was just tired of it. So in 2016, he started acting evil. Just out of nowhere, everything that I did just bothered him. And well, I've never been the type to back down, so I asked him, like, what's your problem? And he just had this evil in his eyes. And nothing I did or said, nothing would make him snap out of it. Nothing. And I tried everything. And I even told him, like, something's up with you. And he would say no. Nothing's wrong. I'm like, something's wrong there. And I know him like the back of my hand, so he would just deny everything. And like 2 weeks already had passed, and he was still acting evil. And I would confront him like, is there somebody else? Are you talking to somebody else? And of course he would deny it. And so this one day, he got really sick. And I already have done this on Facebook, on my personal Facebook page, but I have never recorded a video before, but I just felt like I needed to tell my testimony because a lot of people go through the same symptoms as me and they don't know what to do. Okay, so he gets really, really sick. And I know this is TMI, but he was in the restroom. He had like very bad diarrhea, like bad. Very bad diarrhea. And he just felt, he said he felt drained, and he would just, that day he just laid on the couch. And he had this blank stare in his face. Like I was trying to ask him like, what's gonna happen with our marriage? What's gonna happen? What are we gonna do? Are we just gonna get a divorce? Like, I need to know. And he would just stare at me, and it's like he was empty. He was empty, and nothing that I said would make him snap out of it. So I remember trying to get my in-laws to talk to him to see what was up with him, because he was different. He wasn't the same. So then that went on for the rest of the days. Like this started in July. And in May, I remember we were going to go out on a date night. And well, before I took my boys to my mother-in-law's, while I was in the line waiting to get food, I felt like a premonition. Like something was trying to get into my house. Like something was telling me, hurry up and get home because something's in your house. So I hurried up and got the food, and I came straight home. And I just felt uneasy, like something was in my house. So I checked every corner of the house, and nothing was here. Everything was empty. Nobody was here. So then I called my brothers and my mom to see if they were okay, and they were fine. So I just left it. But it was a premonition, like something was in my house. I even had like anxiety. And now I know that it was the Holy Spirit warning me that that something was in my house. Something was coming into my house. So then we're back in July, and we're back and forth. And he kept blaming me. He kept telling me, oh, it's you. It's you. You need to fix this. You need to fix your attitude. It's you. You're the one that wants to do this. You're the one that never wanted me. You're the one that this. You're the one that that. And I'm like, okay, well, let's just get a divorce and let's get it over with. And he kept back and forth. Like he would say one thing one day, and then later on that day, he would seem like he wanted to fix things. And then he would be ugly, and then later on he would say, okay, like, let's fix things. So he was like this back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. And I would give in, and then my pride would kick in, and I'd be like, no. And we were like that, like little kids. So then, out of nowhere, insomnia kicks in. And I could not sleep. I could not sleep, and I don't know why. I didn't know why. I couldn't sleep. and then panic attacks start. And then I just had this fear in the pit of my stomach 24/7. And so I started Googling what causes panic attacks, what causes insomnia, what causes fear, anxiety. I started Googling everything. Everything. All the while, still, I was trying to, I was praying and asking God, like, what's happening? What's happening? And nothing would help. So the things I was taking for the anxiety, because I didn't want to go on the medication route. I didn't want to be chained up to medication, so I Googled what causes insomnia. And one of the things that it said was to try melatonin. So I tried melatonin. I would do the sleepy time, the chamomile, warm milk, Advil and Tylenol PM, and prayer, and nothing was helping. I even went to this little store that we have here where I live. They have a little, like a religious store, and I told her, like, I feel like I'm being, like something's happening and I don't know what to do. Because the last thing I wanted was to get on medication, then my husband see that I was weak, and then that he thought that I was crazy and that he would take the kids away from me. So I went this route. I tried every natural remedy that I could get my hands on. So she told me to start a novena with the rosary. So that's what I was doing this whole time. And I tried a passion flower supplement for the anxiety, and that didn't help. I tried this, it's a powder called Calm. It has magnesium in it. It's a supplement. So it's a powder, you put it in water and then you drink, you mix it and you drink it, and it's supposed to help with anxiety. Because I looked up what could be causing everything. So then it said that insomnia is caused because you're lacking a certain nutrient in your body. So I tried that and it didn't work. My sister had came in from Phoenix, and before she came, she said she had been feeling uneasy for like the past month or so. And as soon as she saw me, she's like, so you're the one that's been having anxiety. And she's like, and I've been feeling it. So she had been taking this stuff called HTP. It's for anxiety. And I tried it and that didn't help either. Anything that I could get my hands on, nothing would help. Even my mom's Mexican teas, the Advil, nothing was helping. Nothing. I couldn't even go work out. I would run and my best friend would say, did you just run? And I told her yes. And she said, you don't even seem tired. And I told her, I don't know what's going on. I can't sleep. I can't sleep. And she would call me in the morning. And this happened several times. Or I would call her because I couldn't function. So when I would remember, I would call her and I would tell her, I don't know what's going on. I can't sleep. Nothing I try, nothing. It doesn't help. Nothing helps. And I already had stopped eating carbs at this time. And I think I already had lost like 20 pounds. 20 pounds. And I had that knot in my stomach. The fear. I would, anywhere that I was, if I was at a restaurant, I would get the anxiety attack, the panic attacks. If I was at the movies, I would have to walk out and like go to the restroom and put water on my face because I could feel that the panic, like I had always had the anxiety, so I knew that the panic attacks were gonna come, and I would start to panic. I was at night, like I couldn't even sleep, and whenever I would sleep, I would have perverted dreams of me and my husband, and it was so, like, the dreams were so disgusting. And one of the times, because he was never home, or I was just distant because I was in my pride too. I was not going to beg him. I wasn't going to beg him to be with me, because if he wanted out, then why was he trying to fix things? So one of the times he said he was going out of town for work. And before he left that night, he hugged me, and I could just feel the evilness coming from him, but I still didn't know what it was. So then he hugs me, and there's certain things that happened to me when I was a little girl that I've never talked about. And I don't like to talk about it because I never let it define me. I never let it define me, so I just blocked it out. But at the time, whenever he hugged me, all those feelings of when I was a little girl came, and I could just feel the evilness. And one of the times that I did finally get sleep, because, you know, after so many days of sleeping, I couldn't sleep, so my body was just so tired that I would just finally knock out for, even if it was just for a few minutes, it seemed like. I had a dream of this doctor's office. And the doctor's office, we had went to go sign divorce papers. And I could see the office, and I could see that it had wooden shingles on the roof. And I could see the parking lot on it, or in my dream. And I'll tell you what this was later on. So this had been going on. And one of the times that I went to church, God knew that I went with a heavy heart because I didn't know what was going on. And while we were in church, whenever the church was praying or in prayer, when everybody was praying, it slowly faded. The prayers faded into this choir of angels singing. And it was loud. Like it sounded like it was right here. It sounded like it was super loud. I can't even explain it. It sounded so beautiful. So beautiful. I'm thinking of it now, and it's the most beautiful thing I have ever heard. Beautiful. All the angels were in a choir singing, and in tone, the most beautiful sound, the most beautiful song I have ever heard. It was beautiful. And then it slowly faded out. And then I could hear the prayers again, or the sounds around me. And then I felt my head get really hot, and then the tears just started flowing from my eyes. And I was just like, what was that? So at that time, I didn't know it then, but God showed up to show me that he was going to be with me because things were going to get worse. And I still didn't know who Jesus was. So every day was a constant battle, and I was so tired. I was so tired. And, you know, my husband was still being evil at this time. And while all this was happening, I never let my kids know what was happening. I just kept it all in. But they didn't know that I was in my room on my bed fighting for my life. Something was already in my ears telling me, just kill yourself. You're not going to be able to sleep, so just kill yourself. And I couldn't. I couldn't. They couldn't be without their mother. So I fought it. And then I would crave drugs out of nowhere, and I would say, no, I can't get on drugs. I can't get lost. But if it wasn't for them, I don't know what would have happened. But I fought it. So if you're going through the same symptoms I just told you that I was feeling, fight. So anyways, this started at the beginning of July. And we're already in August. And like I said, I didn't want to get on medication because I didn't want to be dependent on medication. And I refused. And I was always on Google looking for stuff. I was always looking for something. I even looked up sleep apnea, and I mean, whatever you could think of, whatever sleeping disorder you could think of, I was always trying to see if I had that or what I could do, and nothing came up. I mean, there was testimonies on there that people had, and they had struggled with insomnia for many years, and I refused. Like, I have to find something. And at this point, I was even scared of the rain. And at this time, it would rain all the time. And I would get so scared. Even whenever it would start to get dark, I would get so scared. And I didn't know what was going on. And I was trying to get over the fact that my marriage was falling apart. Okay, I'm not the only one that gets a divorce. Why was I beating myself up so much? So I just had to accept that just marriage wasn't going to be my life anymore, that I just had to move on. And so on August 16th, I finally just gave in. I'm like, I need to go see a doctor. One of my mom's friends had been going through depression, and she couldn't sleep either, so she recommended that I go see her doctor. She had lost her grandson, so she encouraged me to go see her doctor to get on medication. So I accepted it. I'm like, okay, I'm just gonna go. I'm like, because I just have to move on. I have to be strong enough to raise my kids, because I was doing this all by myself anyway. He was never here. So I finally just gave in, and I went to go see the doctor, and she got me in that same day. And I told her put me on the lowest dose that you can get me on. I don't want to be dependent on medication. I'm like, I'm just doing this until this passes. And she told me a lot of women come to me because they're going through divorces and they even have to get on medication. So I'm like, okay, that's fine. Just get me whatever you need to give me, but I just need to get better for my kids. That's all I'm worried about right now. So that same day, she prescribed me the medication, I went to go get it. And I got home, I cooked dinner, and then I got a message from a friend. And she told me that she was sorry that what I was going through. And I'm like, nobody really knew what was going on. Just my in-laws and my mom and my brother just knew what was going on. So when she sent me the message and told me, I'm sorry what you're going through, I'm here if you need to talk, and I'm like, well, thank you, but how do you know what I'm going through? So she said, oh, I know. She started describing this woman, that she was a hood rat, that my husband and this woman deserve each other. And I'm like, wait. I'm like, you know who he's talking to? I'm like, because I've been asking him this whole time, is there somebody else? And all he keeps saying, like, he just keeps denying it. So then I tell her, you know who this is? And she says, yeah, she works over here by an O'Reilly's. The clinic that she worked at was by an O'Reilly's. So then I just felt relief. I know it's weird, but I felt relief. I'm like, oh, it wasn't me this whole time. Like, it made sense. Everything that he was doing just made sense, because I kept asking him and he would deny it. He would deny it. And so this girl was telling everybody at her work that she was going to stop working because her boyfriend had asked her to stop working, that he was going to move her into his house, and all these lies. So then whenever he would text me, he would put it in a way that would confuse me. So this time I already knew what was going on. So then I practically just blew him off. So then he comes home and I confront him about it. And I already had took the medication that the doctor had given me that same day that I went to the doctor. I had been fighting not to go to the doctor, and then I finally went. That same day, I took the medication, and this medication is supposed to make you sleepy. And it did nothing. It just made the anxiety worse. And my state of mind just was out. It was so weird. So then I tell him, okay, well, what are you doing here? And he was being rude, like he had been. And I'm like, well, I know what you're up to. And the blood from his face just came, like it drained out of his face, and he turned pale. I showed him the picture of the proof that I had, and things got ugly. Things got really ugly, and the medication just made my state even worse. Like, I don't know how to explain it, but I was not there. And so I told him things happened. So I am asking him, like, why are you acting this way? why can't I sleep? And I'm sitting there asking him and asking him. He was just being so evil. And well, I didn't sleep this night because I had the insomnia. So then I asked him, sorry, I'm trying to remember how it happened. It's been a while. So then I asked him, oh, I'm laying on him. We were there talking like nothing had happened. So he starts telling me something's behind you. Like the devil's behind you. He had like this blank stare in his eyes. And then I got like a light bulb turned on. And I'm like, oh my God, I'm like, did you like ask the devil or something to to kill me, or that you wanted me dead or something? He said no. And right then and there, I looked up symptoms of black magic. So one of the top things that were on there was insomnia. So I knew. I just had a feeling that that's what it was. And I'm like, well, how do I find out? I didn't know nothing about this stuff. I'm like, how do I find out? So I start Googling, and it would show me like websites of these different fortune tellers and psychics and stuff like that.